Good Tuesday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF. Visit your local ag retailer about 0% financing on all BASF crop protection, seed treatment, and Zetavo brand soybeans now through March 15th. I'm Joe Everett. It's a chilly 4 degrees outside. If you're out working around the farm today, make sure you stay bundled up, keep the coffee close by, and stay warm out there. A quick calendar reminder, the 2026 Ohio Farm Bureau Young Ag Professionals Winter Leadership Experience is coming up this Friday and Saturday. Join the Ohio AgNet for live updates on Friday, brought to you by Ohio Farm Bureau, and get the full details at experienceyap.com. Now let's check in with Dusty Sonnenberg about Beef 509.
I'm joined this morning by Garth Ruff. Garth, we want to talk about beef programming going on with OSU Extension this year, Beef 509. If you can, maybe just a brief description of what that program is and how folks can get involved.
Yeah, Beef 509 is a really unique program hosted by the Ohio Beef Council. We bring folks on the campus for 2 days, evaluate some fed cattle, talk about fed cattle selection, finish, how value translates in the marketplace, all the way through to the beef cuts. Participants get a chance to go into the meat lab and fabricate some beef. We'll talk about grid pricing, budgets, everything that goes along with the feedlot side of beef production.
I think for folks that haven't participated in it before, truly the hands-on nature of that class is probably one of the best things.
Yeah, I think it's a real high-impact program. Gives producers a chance to dive into the next level to understand, not only fed cattle production, but the beef side of the business, all the way down through merchandising the retail cuts.
My guest again today is OSU Extension Beef Specialist Garth Ruff, and to learn more about Beef 509 or get signed up, you can visit the website ohiocattle.org or call 614-873-6736. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Dusty Sonnenberg.
Hey, thanks, Dusty. Well, the Ohio Soybean Association has announced its 2026 state policy priorities, guiding advocacy efforts to support Ohio soybean farmers. President Bennett Musselman says clear priorities help the association push for policies that boost profitability, economic growth, and long-term sustainability. Key goals include promoting soy-based renewable fuels and biomanufacturing, supporting nutrition policies that include soy, addressing rising input costs and regulatory challenges, and expanding domestic and international trade. Investments in transportation and infrastructure, along with support for animal agriculture, youth programs like 4-H and FFA, and farmland protection are also top priorities. With soybeans remaining Ohio's #1 agricultural export, the association aims to strengthen market access, position Ohio as a leader in renewable energy and ag innovation, and ensure farmers' voices are heard in policy decisions through 2026. To learn more, you can find this full article today at ohioagnet.com. Now let's turn to Brianna Smith, where we learn about a livestock family near Galion, Ohio.
A shared passion for cattle is at the heart of the work at Coker Livestock near Galion, Ohio. It's a true family operation where each member of the Coker family plays a role in day-to-day production as well as the bigger picture of the beef industry. The Ohio AgNet recently had a chance to visit with Nick Coker to learn more about the family's farm.
So we raise about 1,600 head of cattle and farm about 2,400 acres of corn, beans, and wheat. A lot of our calves are Holsteins and then beef on dairy. The beef on dairy are the ones that usually we're starting as baby calves. We see a little bit more economic value starting those as day-old calves because they a little bit better health in the early age. Plus, they can get a little expensive when you go to buy them at 600 pounds to put them into this barn.
To learn more about the Coker family's involvement with the beef industry and to watch the full interview with Nick Coker, head to ohioagnet.com. Reporting for Ohio's Country Journal and Ohio AgNet, I'm Brianna Smith.
Hey, thanks, Brianna. Well, agriculture groups sounded the alarm about the economic crisis in rural America in a letter sent to Congress. 56 organizations representing the cross-section of agriculture signed the letter, sending a strong message to Congress. The letter describes a threat looming over many farms, stating that America's farmers, ranchers, and growers are facing extreme economic pressures that threaten the long-term viability of the U.S. agriculture sector. An alarming number of farmers are financially underwater, farm bankruptcies continue climbing, and many farmers are having difficulty securing the financing they need to grow a crop this year. The letter also said that for the last 3 or 4 years, the reality of record high input costs are rapidly declining, and historically low crops and specialty crop prices have accumulated in negative farming margins and losses approaching $100 billion nationwide. Losses for commodity crops and specialty crops remain deep, and the gap needs to be closed. Now for today's weather, which is brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's your forecast.
Still cold over Ohio today, but we should see better sky conditions. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Quick Ohio forecast update for you. High pressure sits right on top of us today. That means the coldest part of this air mass is here this morning. Temperatures will likely start to ease a little bit this afternoon, and we see partly to mostly sunny skies in most areas except for some clouds way far north. A Clipper system moves through overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, so north of US 30, I think we see clouds tomorrow with a few little bits of snow here and there. Nothing dramatic, but it's not going to be quite as nice of day as today. Have another round of scattered light snow potential overnight to tomorrow night through Thursday morning. And then the bottom falls out on temperatures. We crash hard through Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday, well below normal temperatures, even colder than how we started this week. Watching a monster storm system try and pass to the south over the weekend as well. Any movement in that track farther north gets us into snow in Ohio, so it's something we are definitely watching at this point. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. Ty Higgins catches up with Luke Crumley, who is the Director of Public Policy and Sustainability at the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association, coming up next here on the Ohio AgNet.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
It's time for the Morton Buildings Building Value Days sales event running now through the end of February. Morton Buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now. Our buildings are built to last, but these savings won't. Visit mortonbuildings.com or contact your local Morton office to take advantage of current savings on new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. Offer valid only on select new building orders placed between January 5th and February 28th, 2026.
There were a number of positive policies passed in 2025 that will certainly benefit corn and wheat farmers, but the challenges remain within agriculture, and that means there's even more work to do for our guest in 2026. Luke Crumley is Director of Public Policy and Sustainability with Ohio Corn and Wheat, and Luke, I guess they call that job security.
Yeah, Ty, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for teeing up the realistic expectations here that no matter how much forward progress we gain advocating for Ohio's corn and wheat farmers, there is always more to be done because the churn and burn of American politics means we are constantly playing defense against bad ideas. We're playing offense aggressively for good ideas that can help move markets and improve the condition for our growers here in Ohio. And along the way, we have to maintain our head. We have to be measured and make sure we're putting resources where they're going to have the biggest impact. And 2026 promises more of the same.
Looking at the federal level, what progress did Ohio Corn and Wheat and partner organizations make in 2025? I know that we got a lot of things accomplished on the policy front, but it might have been a little bit messier than we had anticipated.
Yeah, well, budget reconciliation process is always messy, right? And that's where we secured those biggest wins, not only on the tax front side, like I mentioned earlier, but also in promoting longevity and resiliency in important farm bill programs. You know, we didn't get a farm bill per se, but through H.R. 1, that budget reconciliation package, we secured huge wins in the farm bill space. I would say that we moved the ball down the field. Our goal is still to have a comprehensive farm bill. We want to make sure that those important farm bill, farm program provisions and food provisions are linked together and protected together because that gives us a broad coalition to work with. But we got to remember that many parts of the farm bill that deal with things like research didn't get addressed. So our land grant partners, they need our help. growers need to continue to keep their eye on the ball for movement on another farm bill, a mini farm bill that U.S. House Agriculture Committee Chairman G.T. Thompson is signaling he wants to pursue this year. So that's a mixed bag. Some good wins, but the work still lies ahead of us on some really big priority areas.
Your organization is not called the Luke Crumley Organization. It's the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers. You can't do this all by yourself. What do you say to Ohio farmers to help them stay engaged, not just at the federal level, but at the state level as well, and have those meaningful conversations that can make a big difference down the road?
Yeah, this work is nothing to do with me. I'm here as a political hack. The reason why we have credibility begins and ends with our grower leaders. We have a board of directors elected among their peers who look at everything that's happening in agriculture and say, this is our lane. These are the areas we need to focus on. And then that board of directors really relies on our team, our staff, and then our grassroots network to bring the grower voice to Washington and to Columbus to be successful. If it was just our staff building credibility, we'd get nowhere. But when 84% of Americans, something like 84% of Americans, report trusting American farmers, there is no replacement in our advocacy portfolio for the engaged effort of our members. And when folks join our association as members, they automatically get enrolled in alerts about what's happening in our space. They get our monthly emails, and then they can sign up for text alerts. They can sign up for email alerts in the policy space and really help us engage with our elected officials when it matters most.
Website's very easy, ohiocornandwheat.org, to find out more about what Luke and his team does and also how you can get involved in the process. Luke Crumley, Director of Public Policy and Sustainability at Ohio Corn and Wheat. Always great to visit with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ty.
Hey, thanks, Ty, for the update. Stay tuned. We'll be back with your grain analysis and your overnight markets after this.
Nearly 90% of farmers say that financial worries, constantly changing market conditions, and other uncontrollable variables take a toll on their mental well-being. Add in the weather and family dynamics, well, it's a lot to handle alone. But did you know farmers and their families can receive free confidential services from licensed professionals? Support is available 24/7 to help with the challenges you face. Look for Farm Family Wellness Alliance under the Resources tab at farmfoundation.org. Take care of yourself. Your well-being matters.
Hi, I'm Greg Peterson of the Peterson Farm Brothers. If you've seen our videos, you know we're proud to be farmers. Farming can be dangerous. Never assume location or depth of underground utilities or pipelines. Before you start any work on your farm, call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com to have underground lines located. It only takes a minute and can save your life.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
It's now time for today's market analysis, which is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets were closed to start the week on Monday in observance of the Martin Luther King Day holiday. Overnight trade happened last night, though, as normal, and we are off here. We will see just what the market wants to try and focus in on. On one hand, we finished the week last week on a nice little bounce. It seemed like after the way the week started with the USDA report, we had kind of gotten some solid footing underneath us. Excitement about the RVOs and everything there really got bean oil excited midweek. And the markets finished the week on a positive note for beans, corn, and wheat. However, over the weekend, President Trump announced an additional 10% tariff on 8 nations out of Europe up and until we get Greenland given to us or we purchase Greenland or whatever. And French President Macron is now making the rounds, wanting to use the trade bazooka back on the U.S. That includes soybeans, poultry in the list of items. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight trade brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. March corn 424 1/4 down a half. May corn 431 3/4 down a quarter. As we turn to soybeans, March 1060 1/2 up 2 3/4. May soybeans 1071 3/4 up 3 cents. And July wheat 541 up a half. As we turn to livestock from Friday's close, February live cattle $232.15 down $3.90. April live cattle $233.97 down $4.45. February lean hogs 88.27, up 47 cents. April lean hogs 95.20, up 20 cents. And March feeder cattle 356.45, down $8.10. This is the Ohio AgNet.